Hi, my name is Richard Thomas. I live in Fargo, North Dakota. This is my home here in Forest River Addition, and it's right along the Red River. And we've had a lot of flooding problems here over the years, and particularly since 2009. And I'm using an AquaDam to protect my home. Used it for the first time in 2009, and this is in 2010. The river came up very high again, and this is 2011, and we're having problems again. So if you want to follow me around, I'll show you where the river is and what our problem is there. In 2009, the water was about 2 feet deep, right about where I'm standing. So we had a 30-inch AquaDam here that protected the home very effectively, had very little seepage, and did such a wonderful job that we had it available for us again and when we had high water again in 2010, and here it is 2011, and we're going to have another 500-year flood. So we're getting ready to set it up, and I've got a little bit of a slope back here, so we use a few sandbags to crib up the outer edge of the AquaDam as we set it up. My plan is to do some landscaping and level this out, so in the future if I have to use the AquaDam, I won't have to use a single sandbag. I'll just roll it out. But right now we're probably going to use a few hundred sandbags as compared to probably 9,000 sandbags if we did the whole job with sandbags. So what I'm doing right now is I'm staging some sandbags in the low spot here. I'll just bring and put several stacks of sandbags, and then when we roll the AquaDam out, wherever we have a little bit of a slope, we'll have some sandbags there that will support the outer or the lower edge while the AquaDam is filling up. Once it gets about halfway full with water, it stabilizes and it'll pull back away from the sandbags that we use to support the edge. But they need to be there to help us on the slope while we fill it up. And again, they have to be there when we let the water back out of it, because the same thing is true when you let the water out and drain the water out. But it's a pretty small thing to handle a few sandbags as compared to the several thousand that I would need if I was doing the whole job with sandbags. All right. I built this house in about 1980, and for many years I coexisted with the river just fine. But we've had a really wet series of years since the 90s, and I used to have a deck right here. The deck would come out to about here someplace, but I had to tear that off to set up my AquaDam in 09, and I'm planning on re-landscaping this and making it flat so I have a nice level place to set up the AquaDam without using any sandbags for cribbing. We're safe to put the AquaDam up to about out here with just a few sandbags to support the outer edge. Any further and we have too much slope, and there's just no way to set the AquaDam up. So it's best if you have a relatively level area to set it up. A small amount of slope, you can crib up the slope side with sandbags to support it while it's filling up. Once it's completely full, the bags lock together and it's extremely stable, and you don't have to worry about it at that point, but you have to support that outer edge while you're filling it up. And you can see we're not that much of a slope right in here, but as I walk a little further down here, there starts to be a significant slope, and there's there's really no way we could put an AquaDam down here. So but if it's reasonably flat, or you can support the outside edge, then an AquaDam is an excellent choice to protect your property. I built this house in about 1980, and I've coexisted with the river quite well over the years. I don't want to leave this area. We have lots of wildlife here. We have deer, wild turkeys, birds. It's a pleasure to be out here every day, with the exception of these few spring times that we're having a problem, and the AquaDam is handling that problem for us. So for a little inconvenience of having to roll out the AquaDam and fill it up for a few weeks during the spring on these years when we do have a flood hazard, then we can drain the water out and put it away and enjoy our life along the river and with all the wildlife here, and not have to deal with the flooding and the sandbags. And we just love living here along the Red River in North Dakota, and again, lots and lots of wildlife, and really enjoy it. So the AquaDam allows us to continue to live here and enjoy this type of life, and not have to deal with sandbagging every spring. I've got my little lawn tractor in a trailer, and I'm hauling a couple hundred sandbags around to the back to crib up the low areas to support the edge of the AquaDam on the slope in the back. Not too much of a slope, but we've got a couple low areas, and we put a few sandbags to hold up the outer edge while we fill it up. A couple hundred sandbags instead of 10,000, so it's not too big of a chore. A little landscaping will take care of that at some point, and we won't even have to haul any sandbags back there. The first year I used the AquaDam in 09, I had some large shrubs right here at the corner of the house. In order to be able to bring the AquaDam over fairly close to the house on the nice level area of property here, I had to cut the shrubs off, but some new landscaping will take care of that, and I'll do my plantings in such a way that it doesn't interfere with setting up the AquaDam in the future. So right now, no plants, nothing in the way.
Sandbags are used to compensate for the drop in grade.
Can't whistle, now I really can't whistle, so that'll leave me out.
Now we brought out about a pallet and a half or 150 sandbags so far, and maybe another 100 will be probably all we'll need. That's a lot better than the 9,000 because these things are heavy. The county, a bunch of volunteers, bagged these up and delivered them out, and we've had freezing temperature, and a lot of them are frozen solid, so although they work for what we want to use them for, to crib up the edge of the AquaDam, these would not work at all to build a sandbag dike because they won't seal to each other. They don't conform to each other. So the other people who got these to build a sandbag dike are going to be... Oh, you okay? Yeah. Going to be in a lot of trouble. That's another reason to not sandbag. The AquaDam is going to come right around this corner, and I want to keep it as close to the house as I can because this is the highest part of the property, and this is also where it's the most flat. And it's the easiest way to set the AquaDam up. The further I get away from the house here, the more slope I have, and I want to stay up here in the flat part as best I can. I have some of the sandbags that I used to prop up the edge back in 09 stacked here. And they've been covered with a tarpaulin, but even so, the sun has gotten at them and rotted them away, so they're pretty much useless anymore. So it's hard to even save these things from one season to the next to use again. The UV breaks them down. The AquaDam has got a material in it that protects it against the UV, so it's pretty stable out in the sunlight for long periods of time. So right now we've got ice and snow here. We're gonna clear that away and get all the stuff I've got stored here out of the way so we can bring the AquaDam up close to the house. We got to clear this stuff out so we can get up close to the house with the AquaDam.
Where do you want to set this?
I think we'll just set it right over by that other one.
Oh, okay.
And
Do you want to come around with the same, or does it matter?
it doesn't matter. You know, we may be using these as a brace again, who knows? But if they're over here, they're out of the way.
How's your back holding up? Doing good?
So far, so good. It's getting just warm enough.
Yeah.
A 3-foot by 150-foot AquaDam with a baffle. It's a double closed end, and it has 2 collars for attaching to another AquaDam, so you can string them together one after another after another. And previously I had one 250-footer that went all the way around the house, but the floods that we've been having have been lasting so long here that it kind of restricts access to being able to drive in and out of the garage. And so this year I've upgraded to 2 sections, a 150-footer and then another about 100 feet or so that goes along the front. So I can fill the back up, and if the crest goes down and I don't have to worry about the flood for a while, I can let the water out of the front, have access to the garage and in and out and everything. If the water comes back up again, it'll be easy to just go ahead and refill that front section again. So this was on the back of the truck over there. We pulled it off the back of the truck, this section right here. And we're going to take the wrapper off and everything, and then we're going to roll it around the house. And it's a little bit clumsy, but it's not too bad. So a couple of us are going to drag it over to the corner, and then we're going to unwrap it and start rolling it out.
Well, you've done this before. Yeah, he's good. He's good. You hold that.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring this around.
Okay, tell us what we're doing here now. Everybody's got to talk.
This top piece of black material is a wrap to protect the AquaDam and shipping.
just like Christmas.
I go ahead.
Taking the wrapper off. It's used back at the plant to use a forklift for handling it, and if you've got the equipment you can also use this to place it at the site where you're using it. But right now we're going to be cutting this off. We've got a razor knife. We're going to cut the rope and take it off. Right now we're just using it to keep the wrapper on it. such that if you open it so that you roll it out of the wrapper, you're also rolling it in the direction that you want for using it. So it might be a little hard.
You want to leave this wrapper. You might actually need those roots. Well, here,
Slippery.
let me push on this and pull.
Okay. Can't get any traction here, buddy.
I know it.
There it is.
I think we should. Got how muddy it.
Well, this North Dakota clay is just slimy.
Like mud.
Like mud.
Okay.
Another roll.
Now pull this corner right here.
Okay, we want to just pull this back here.
We want to make a pleat in it.
Oh, okay. Now lift again. I'm going to try to go up the hole a little bit with it again.
Okay.
You good? You ready?
Yep.
Do we need to come around to miss that?
Yeah, we'll pay you a little bit more. Okay, now we can have it straight down.
Well, let's get it up the tree. What? Can you get past the tree?
Getting real easy to roll now.
Okay, let's pull it. One more and then we'll yeah. There you go. Hold this and pull it back. Ready? Yeah. 40 feet. Yep. Drop to the tree. Go past. Yeah. There we go. let's actually pull it back to you. So we'll be resting up against it. Well, okay, let's pull it your way. That wasn't too bad.
So, say 10 or 15 minutes at the most to roll this thing all the way out. A little
Yep.
bit of a struggle, but not too bad.
Not too bad.
Get a couple teenagers to help you and it would have taken half that time.
Let's fold this back to the end of the dam. And right here.
You guys could, well, tell them what you mean by that, what the connection collar is.
Okay.
Let's open this up.
So the actual inner part of the AquaDam ends right about here.
Oh, start that over.
The tubes on the inside of the AquaDam end right about here. And this is what's called a collar. And the collar allows another AquaDam to slide inside of this and butt up against the other AquaDam. And then when it's inflated with water, the butt ends seal against each other and the outside edges seal up against the inside of this collar. And a lot of people have asked me, well, how does that work? And I tell them it's just like when you were a kid and you played with that Chinese finger cuff and you stuck your fingers in and you couldn't pull them back out. It's the same thing. The pressure of the water pushing against the inside of the collar locks it together. And the ends mushroom out against each other and they seal up. So very watertight seal. You can extend, you can put these together one after another and just continue on as far as you want to go. Or in my case, I just go right around and just have two connections and just go all the way around the house.
So like on the corners you had,
Are just great big plastic tubes, and they're laying completely flat, just like this outer fabric tube is right now. And when you start to fill it up with water, when there's just a couple inches, that water is going to come up to where it's laying flat like that, and it's going to kind of stop right there and start building up behind that. So you have to come up and finesse it. When it's just a couple inches deep, you just come up and you kind of stomp on it a little bit, massage it around a little bit, and once the water gets past those folds, then it folds, then it flows on past, and once it gets a couple, 3-4 inches deep, then those folds expand, and then it just goes ahead and fills right up. And on the outside edge, you'll have your continuous length on the outside. Now, like if we have 275 feet to go all the way around the house, that'll be the outside perimeter of this footprint. The inside edge, we'll put little pleats in it as we go around the corner. Every couple feet we'll pull it back and put little pleats, and as it fills up with water, they just kind of disappear. They just kind of just become part of the tube, and you hardly even see those. At this point, we've rolled 150 feet out, and the job was just to get it rolled out. And the roll is kind of heavy to start out with, but right now the fabric itself is lightweight. It's easy to handle. And we've got a couple of little kinks and stuff like that where we don't want them, and it's not as straight as we want it. So now we'll go back and we'll kind of straighten everything out, and it's easy to do because you can grab onto it and you can pull 20, 30, 40 feet at a time to straighten it out. Get it just the way you want around the corners and everything. See, nothing to it, just like that, straight. And the footprint is a little wider right now than what it will be when it fills up, because this will be 3 feet high and about 6 or 7 feet wide, but right now it's probably 8 or 9 feet wide. But as it fills up, it'll get higher and narrower. So it's like leaning up against that tree, but when it fills up with water, it'll pull back away from that. Because as I said, it's going to get narrower and higher as we fill it up. So we're actually going to pull it up a little closer to the house, because when it fills up, it'll pull back away, and we want to stay as high up or as far up close to the house as we can, because this is the high ground and we stay away from the slope, and as much as we can stay away from the slope, it just makes it a little bit easier to set up. So that's what we'll do now, is pull it over a little closer to the house and a little closer to the corner. And it'll seem like it's real tight right now, but as it fills up, it'll pull back.
corner right up in there.
Now, okay. Are we bringing this up again? How about your discharge here?
About here and you about there, and we pull it this way a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
We're always going to have, this is going to be a hard one. I got to get it right here. How's that look, David? More? More?
More.
As we go around the outside corner, as we come around the
There's the river, ready to start the pumps.
Disconnected and roll that 1-200.
Here's the fill end of this AquaDam. You can see the two hoses going in.
you might want to do something here showing how you
There's the end of the AquaDam.
Man, alive.
very rigid, very solid. You can jump up there and you can see. And was giving me 2.5 feet of protection against the river along the back side of my house here. Piece of commercial property over in Moorhead, a bunch of Carlos has got one too. I can see half of the staircase sitting behind his crate in his driveway.
This is Richard Thomas's house, South Fargo on River Drive Road. He's made himself a nice little stairway to walk up and over the AquaDam. Many of the homeowners here have done just that. The river's come up. It's been approximately 6 days since we put this AquaDam in. I'm going to give you a quick tour around it, show you where the river is now. When we started filling, we had to go way out there by those trees. It was way downhill. Now the water isn't so far away. The AquaDam's still sitting here just where we put it. Garbage cans. Not only does Richard have a 3-foot high AquaDam, his neighbor has a 3-foot high AquaDam around his house. Back to Richard Thomas's house. Richard Thomas's house. Not far to go. Another 8 feet and it'll be right at the bottom of the AquaDam. Richard Thomas's neighbor. This is Carlos's house. The Red River. Carlos's house. He also has got a nice walkway built to go up and over his the AquaDam. This is still Carlos's house. Across the street, we have Jason's house. He has a 4-foot high AquaDam. He just filled his last night. This is the front of the house, facing the river. All of these black pipe are so that rainwater can run to the outside of the AquaDam. Very elaborate system, very well prepared. Each black pipe is supported by a 2x4. So the water will run off the house and to the right side of the AquaDam. Otherwise, it'd just run on the ground and the sump pumps would have to pick it up. Very good job.
Here's an Associated Press exclusive out of Washington. U.S. official now says Muammar Gaddafi appeals to Obama in a letter to halt the NATO campaign. We will get the latest from CBS in just a moment here on KFGO.
Here's Jason's walkway. It's got sandbags down here to weight it down so it doesn't float away. This is the 50-foot long segment that he installed last, so he can take it down first and then leave the rest up to make sure there isn't a second crest. Sure, go ahead.
I had to,
work and then find out it never gets here. But
this homeowner's got sandbags that he saved from last flood event in this side of his garage. Of course, he's got to keep them dry. You can't keep them outside, otherwise they just become frozen. And now this is they're pliable. They're not frozen. That's because he kept them. Unfortunately, to do his house, which he sandbagged in 2009, it took 9,000 sandbags. There's approximately 800 sandbags in this pile. And they're quite messy. They like to rip apart. Now this time, he bought some AquaDams, a 3-foot by 200 feet long, 3 foot high by 200 feet long, and a 3-foot by 100 foot AquaDam. So he went from these two bundles, which will go all the way around his house with a 3-foot high dike. So this stack of sandbags that won't even do 10% of his house. This or this.